What's up, guys? Welcome to the Chewsday special podcast. Before we jump into this week's episode, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor for this episode. It's Kanabroski Brewing Company based out of Concord, North Carolina. Your beer from here. It's a great place. They have trivia every Wednesday night if you're a trivia fiend. Wink, wink. They have every third Thursday a comedy show. Wink, wink. But in all seriousness, it's a great brewery in like the outskirts of Concord, North Carolina. They have like blondes, they have red amber ales, they have IPAs, they have double IPAs, they have everything you'll ever need if you're a craft beer fan. So go check them out, Concord, North Carolina, cabarrusbrewing.com. Let's hit up the episode. All right, guys, now that we got that out of the way, welcome to episode 2 of the Chewsday special podcast. That's right, I said Chewsday special podcast. My name is Patrick. I am your host, and I have a pretty interesting interview today. It's with a guy that I've become best friends, if not like brothers, with over the past 5 years because of the professional wrestling business. And his name is Brian Kanabroski. And Brian is the owner of PWX Wrestling, a company that I hold dear to my heart, that I work for. That is been a big part of my life for the last 5 years, 6 years. I worked for him for 10, I believe, roughly 10 years. Brian's been the owner for the past 5 years. And the company under him has grown like incredibly over the past 5 years. And now is cemented its place in North Carolina wrestling history and is probably, if not the biggest, one of the biggest independent wrestling companies in the Carolinas. And they pride, but it's a lot of hard work. And I think this is the first time me and Brian have ever sat down and had a conversation, like just me and him. We've talked on other podcasts with other people, but this is a weird conversation with just me and him. Not really weird, but just interesting, because I asked Brian questions that I've never really thought to ask him before about how he got into wrestling. I kind of knew the story about how he got ownership of PWX and the events that went down that took place to get there, but we dive deep, and I'd say if you work in professional wrestling, it's a good podcast to listen to. If you're a professional wrestling fan, it's a fun podcast to listen to. But yeah, that's what this episode's about. I called Brian. I said, "Hey man, would you like to sit down and talk? And we can talk wrestling, we can talk life, we can talk whatever you want." And yeah, he said, "Cool." And yeah, so that's how this interview came about. And this is episode 2 of the Chewsday special podcast. Thank you guys for listening. It's going to be up on iTunes soon. And if you want to listen to it, just audio, it's at canepunch.com/Chewsday special. So check it out. This is my interview with Brian Kanabroski. Thanks, B.
Everything you said we already knew, more or less.
Well, here's something that you didn't know. 2 of those special atomic bombs haven't gone off.
All right, so is this the first time we've publicly like had a conversation, just me and you, on
just the two of
like
us? Yeah.
on the air for the public?
For the public, yes. So I mean,
not for people like Ed's on. And other people have to deal with
no
it.
Ed, no Kevin Kelly listening to us argue.
Yeah.
And some of the boys listen to us either argue or just go over stuff. And yeah, it's the first time just a one-on-one in Patrick's crazy basement.
In the basement.
Literally.
Yeah.
Throwback to 1990?
90s-ish? 90s,
I feel like I walked
2000s.
back into 93, 94.
Yeah,
Is that
maybe.
about right?
Maybe. But yeah, so we're in the basement. And for those of you who don't know, this is Brian Kanabroski. He is the owner of Premiere Wrestling Xperience that employs me, based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Been an owner for what, 5 years? It's almost 5. It's 5 years.
August. It's 5 years.
August was 5 years?
It's,
or this month?
Coming up right around the 26th, 27th will be 5 years.
Wow. I remember when we first talked, for our first conversation on the phone.
You're like, who the hell is this guy that
Yeah.
don't know shit about wrestling?
Yeah. So, but yeah, this is going to be a lot of wrestling talk in this, and a lot of behind the scenes stuff because, well, I mean, I guess we can be kind of egomaniacs here. Like, me and Brian play a big part, and Brian plays the biggest part, but we play a big part in the success of PWX over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I assume that's what everybody tells us.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Bit.
So
no
we'll
real,
talk about
no real crazy egos, just a lot of
Hard work.
Hard work.
Hard work and long
financial
hours.
Investment.
And financial investments on your part.
Yeah.
But yeah, so but there's a lot to get to before we get to the PWX stage. Tell me when you became like a wrestling. Were you a wrestling fan growing up?
Wrestling fan growing up. I think my younger brother Mike, a little bit more of a fan than I was. He had the old LJNs, still has them probably.
Nice.
I remember him playing with them and me playing and me. You'd have your own matches and stuff like that. And how many times could you crack through that old plastic?
Blue plastic.
No, this was the white plastic one.
Oh.
The old school.
I remember
we're talking 80 to 82.
Okay, that was before I came around.
So with the big tall, not Galoob ones or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Not the Hasbros, like the big tall crazy 9-inch hard plastic painted like crap.
Yeah.
Wrestling.
Those were LJN. You're right.
It was LJNs.
Okay, that was before Hasbro, right?
Before the Hasbros, that was I think their first run of figures.
Gotcha.
So, my mom and dad, we lived in upstate New York, so we'd have to drive to see any wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, it was an hour drive, maybe 45 minutes to Rochester War Memorial.
Gotcha. Now, so was that a bigger venue or smaller? Because I always like talking to people who grew up in the 80s and the 90s before it got real big of WWF touring, because I want to see if it was like anything like NWA's old school touring.
I want to say these were house shows. Okay, so
but was it like high school building or like
bigger
Coliseum
than high school,
building?
more like what we do at Cabarrus Arena.
Okay,
but I mean, to me, being so little, I want to. It's.
Your perspective is bigger. Everything's so much bigger.
So thinking back on it now to the buildings we run, I bet you they were the same 5,000 to 10,000 square foot.
Gotcha.
But I want to think it was
like
a 5,000 seat arena.
Yeah, gotcha.
But no, I think they've since torn that building down. But I mean, it's an old, probably bigger than an Armory, but smaller than a big arena.
Gotcha. Okay. So let me think of how I want to. So you and your brother were going to wrestling shows.
Yep, mom and dad taking us to wrestling shows, watching it all the time.
Did that fandom last through school?
Absolutely not.
No,
I'll bet you.
Because you're a little older than me, so whenever I hit high school, that's when like the Attitude Era started, and that's when it went crazy, and everybody was a fan because it was so insane.
So there was like a lull for me, probably from mid '80s to somewhere even after college, to late '90s. That's when I would, I'm out of college around '97, '98. That's when I started maybe watching it again.
Gotcha.
You got your. When I moved down to North Carolina in '97, '98, that's when it's like, all right, what's going on Monday night? Let's go ahead and, that's when your roommates, you're watching,
yeah, that's when it
beer,
gets crazy,
having fun, watching TNA and everything else in the Attitude Era.
Yeah,
I think everybody became a fan in the Attitude Era.
Oh yeah, it was
even
because
if
they
were a former fan.
Because they had something for everyone.
It's pop culture for everything.
But yeah, so that all transitions to, I guess, college. You just college.
Even past college. So I mean, I wasn't really paying attention to it in college at all.
Really?
So college out in the Midwest.
That's hard because there's so much other stuff.
I was busy going to the clubs.
Yeah, there's so much other stuff in college.
Having too much fun, and I mean, I went to school. My background's criminal justice, so that's what I went to school for. So
gotcha.
Computers and criminal justice. So I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
I'm
right there with you.
With some cool roommates in college, and then I ended up coming down here to the Carolinas as a drugstore manager.
Mm-hmm.
So, because there was nothing in my major at the time. Nowadays, I'd probably not be in the wrestling business, not be in the car business, and be retiring this year.
Yeah.
That's what's.
Don't worry, I'll never retire either.
So I would have stayed with it.
I'm right there with you.
But so I mean, then there's just a long gap to where, probably 2000 to 2010, 2011, I barely was watching it.
Yeah.
You know,
What got you back into it?
a neighbor.
Really?
Yes.
I want to hear this story. Give me the story.
Literally, his nickname is Jethro.
Nice.
So, but he's from Pennsylvania. We call him Mr. Jethro.
He's from Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
And he lives down in North Carolina?
Yes.
And his name's Jethro?
No. His name's Jeff, but we'd call him Jethro. Or I'd call him Jethro, and then he'd call me Mr. Brian.
Nice.
So we're
around the same age or older?
He's younger than me,
Oh, okay.
probably, I want to say 10 years.
Gotcha.
So, so he was staying with his in-laws.
Okay.
So, who are my neighbors. So he'd come over, we'd start watching wrestling. He's just like, man, I haven't watched wrestling forever.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the one that helped get me started watching wrestling.
And this was around 2011, 12-ish?
Late 11, early 2012.
Okay.
So then I'm listening, you know, wrestling podcasts, started again. I'm starting to get back into it. Started doing a couple of wrestling podcasts after Monday Night Raw to talk about.
No, we can't breeze over that.
Okay.
Because you were doing these when I first met you.
Yes.
And I'm a big proponent, as you can tell, in podcast and broadcast, like online radio, I guess you could say.
It was on Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah.
So started out with.
Now, who all was it? Was you?
It was me. True God.
True God.
There
was a girl, wasn't there?
There was a girl, Shannon. A couple other ones.
So how'd you meet these people?
Just talking online, man.
Really?
Yeah, when you're critical of the WWE product.
Yeah.
And this is that time when, you know, I'm a CM Punk mark, so you really want him to be pushed. You know, I think the biggest thing I pushed, and the reason why Stone Cold Steve Austin still blocks me to this day, is I really wanted at WrestleMania 30 to see Punk versus
Austin.
Yeah. I mean, there was a storyline there that they could have ran with that really would have made money.
Yeah, I agree. So. So tell me, like, I'm always interested because I love people that do podcasts.
Yeah.
I love it, like, finding out how not everybody just knows, like, oh, I get a microphone, I record audio, I put it in the computer, and I send it to iTunes, and hopefully it'll get on iTunes.
Yep.
A lot of people don't understand how somewhat easy that is, yet complex it is if you want it to be a good podcast.
I was on more of the production side to where, you know, I would do, Blog Talk at the time was starting to take off.
Yeah. I remember when it started, like, everybody used it because it was so easy because you could call in with your phone, record it on your phone. You didn't have to have a microphone,
it did everything
a USB
for
mic.
you.
Yeah.
Or you could Skype in with the microphone, which was a little better. And then you could literally set up and upload MP3s for sound effects.
Yeah. And it was the first, might still be the only setup that has a call log. Like, that keeps people in a log that are calling into your show.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's just like a radio station.
Yeah.
So in college, I did a little work promoting with the radio station. So for me, it was like, oh, this is interesting. Let me mess with this. So you get to the point of, you know, I'm like, all right, we've got sound effects on cue. We've got callers in queue. We can put someone on live or put them back on mute.
That's all you need.
Everything together to run an actual radio show. So, I mean, we started getting a lot of talent, a lot of listens. You know, we were pushing the envelope, to where, I mean, I was more production side, and I'm the very analytical business guy. Here, you know, I'd play the role of what's Triple H thinking, what is Vince thinking, and where does that take them in business.
You were that douchebag that looked too much into it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I own WWE stock, so for me, I'm like, all right, where's their stock going to go on Tuesday morning?
Yeah.
So
you hate the storylines, but their stocks keeps rising.
Exactly.
That's what's happening now,
like $10
which is so weird about, like, I understand why people dislike their product, but as long as their stock keeps rising and they're making a ton of money, they're not going to change it.
It's people look at it, and I think most people get fooled they look at it as a wrestling product. It's an advertisement. It's an advertisement platform.
True.
They're selling advertising.
It's a TV show.
It's a TV show. So, and they're drawing their ratings helps them generate more money for advertising dollars, which affects the bottom line. So
people don't understand. And we'll get into a lot of that analytical stuff. We have a lot to talk about. But yeah, so you got into it was Wrestling Heels, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So it started out as actually Wrestling Heads.
Okay.
And then myself and True God and Shannon split off and did Wrestling Heels.
Okay.
I mean, Bruno Sammartino, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Y'all did a lot of interviews with people,
There
didn't
was
you?
a ton of interviews. I mean, if we didn't have someone on every week, people were like nuts. And
So
I mean,
at
there
the
was a working
height-
relationship with Ring of Honor. Mm-hmm. You know, where they would send talent on before
Before big shows.
big shows. When True God was, he would do live recordings there, and then we
Nice.
would rebroadcast them the following week.
So at the height of the Wrestling Heels,
Yeah,
how many people you think? How many listeners?
it was
Like,
over.
a
It was like
week.
1,200 to 1,500
A week?
live.
Oh, really?
No, live
Nice.
listeners. So
Because I remember listening to some of those shows. I was on it a few times.
Yeah.
You invited me
Yeah.
on a few times when you first started with PWX. But yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, the numbers were just great and
I think we have like 2. But
high.
it's just yeah, us.
And high,
Us.
or just the two of us.
But yeah.
No, there's probably 3.
Yeah, maybe
Maybe
3.
4.
Hopefully some PWX fans will watch this. But no, yeah, that's awesome. I loved like talking to people about how. I mean, you never really talked about that.
No,
in the
that was,
5 years that we've been super like close.
My first PWX show was I just posted it with Matt
It was
Hardy.
June, wasn't it?
No, so that was one where I was a sponsor with Wrestling Heels.
Okay, it was a neighborhood theater, right?
It was the neighborhood theater, an evil twist of fate.
Yeah, with
Matt Hardy
versus Kevin Steen.
I remember Rebby getting a package pile driver from Steen.
I have so many funny stories from that entire like building up to that because
First time I saw Corey Hollis live.
really
I was
this is
impressed.
so. I was working with Jake Manning at Ring of Honor during that time.
Okay.
And we did a loop that I want to say was, I don't know if it was
The
Philly?
night before they did.
they were
The
in Ri-
night before
they
they
were in
did.
Richmond.
The
No,
night before they did.
Norfolk.
Before I went to that show, the night before they were at the venue in North Charlotte at the fairgrounds. And Carino, Rhett Titus,
Okay, yeah,
they all had a steel cage match there.
that wasn't the night before. That was like a month before.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, because that's what I'm getting at is
Okay.
we did a loop with the Ring of Honor that I think it was Philadelphia, Norfolk, and then Charlotte.
I'm trying to see if I can
Which
find
is so
pictures
weird.
from that.
But Ty was like, Patrick, I need you to film something for me at the show.
Okay.
So at the Ring of Honor show, and that was one where it was Kevin Steen and Generico versus somebody in a steel cage match.
Okay. So
And
I did that when they came in for the Charlotte loop. I think was a month.
that was the Charlotte. It was in
Okay.
Charlotte. It was the one you're talking about, the
Okay.
ladder match.
Yes.
That was so crazy. Or not the ladder match, the cage match. That was so crazy.
Briscoes, Rhett Titus, Carino,
And Steen,
Steen, and
Generico, wasn't it?
No, it was what's his name? Jimmy Jacobs.
Oh, okay. Oh, it was when they were doing the evil.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm standing in the back, and I had already talked to Kevin, and I was like, Kevin, we need to film this thing. Ty said he talked to you about it. Kevin's like, oh yeah, I know. So then I get a tap on my shoulder, and it's Matt Hardy.
Okay.
He goes, hey, are you Patrick? And I was like, yeah. He goes, okay, just film me, and just film and follow me. Oh, do you have it on there?
September 8th, 2012.
Yes, September 8th, 2012.
My wife looks totally uncomfortable in
Yeah.
that picture. She is overdressed for a wrestling show.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I wonder. Hold on.
And I'll share these with you so you can share them
Yeah.
in the stream.
Hold on. Go back. This. I don't know if that's me or not.
That's
Filming.
Lowell, I think.
Oh, okay. It might have been me and Lowell that filmed it, but yeah. So
Yeah, it was right. It was Jimmy Jacobs.
Yeah. So we were after this. Matt Hardy comes up, taps me on the shoulder, and he goes, "Just follow. Turn the camera on. I'm cutting a promo. Just follow me." I was like, okay.
When he came out to the ring?
So he comes out. This is after everybody's breaking everything down.
Okay.
He comes out and I'm filming him, and then Steen comes out and they have a little confrontation, and then then Matt walks out, or no, Steen walks out, and then I cut it off, and he goes, "Thank you," and walks off, and I was
Nice.
like, "Oh, is that what I'm supposed to? I don't know what I'm doing. Is that what I'm supposed to film?" And yeah, and then that turned into that Evil Twist of Fate thing.
So
Ridiculous, dude.
I remember there was so much blood in that match.
Yeah.
I had blood on
was red.
me. It was red. So I was
Red
literally
always
sitting
is
in the
red.
front corner by the entrance.
Uh-huh.
Blood on me, blood on her, white blouse. Who wears a white blouse
I
to
don't
a
know.
cage match? But hey, it
Claudia
happened.
does. That's who he does.
So, so then from there it turned into, I picked up a flyer for PWX that night. I was like, all right, I guess I'll go check this out.
Yeah.
And that was the following month.
Yes, that's what it was.
Neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then from there, I sat, to give you an idea. Oh, no, I actually fit in. This is another company was in the middle of this. So this is getting the,
Like,
me getting interested in wrestling again.
Yeah.
So,
So the Ring of Honor show is what kind of poked the bear of you wanting to start going to Independence.
Independence, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that really kind of woke up the sleeping bear, and hold on, I'm trying. So that was Reed Flair,
Oh, was that WXW or WWX or XWW?
XWW.
Gotcha.
Yep, September 21st, 2012.
So then you come to that show. I did the production for that show, just so we can run our parallel path.
Okay.
I was behind the soundboard doing all the production. Did I wrestle at that show
No.
in my Circo gear
Maybe.
with the white mask and a 6-man with Bird?
Yes.
And okay.
Yeah.
So we do all this. This is when like PWX starts building steam, because the way it starts building steam is like the story that I heard. I don't. This is before I was ever a part like in the inner circle. I did all the design stuff for him and did the video stuff. This is when I believe that's the shows that Seth Bowman that was his first time ever doing some stuff for him.
I think so. And they had I remember ESPN being there.
Mm-hmm.
WFNZ was there.
Oh yeah, dude. They had
a lot of good.
That's when there was really not a lot of really good. Well, there's still not a lot of good like companies, like independent wrestling companies. There's a few in North Carolina, but especially not in the Charlotte area. There's a few that were like backwoods kind of. But then PWX was like another level, and it was all because. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that I'm sharing any secrets. If I am, oh well. It's statute of limitations is over, I assume. Ty worked on the ring crew for Ring of Honor, so
Yes.
he made friends with all these guys at Ring of Honor, and then
would bring them in, or they'd come in after. I mean, you look at it like some of the old stuff. I remember Cornette did a promo when Steen defended the belt.
Yeah, like Cornette was
Ring of Honor
on
title,
because
right.
that's when Cornette was really
Yeah.
in with Ring
That's
of
when
Honor.
he didn't hate us.
Yeah,
And
I
not
still
hate
get
us
along
personally,
Yeah,
but
I still get along with Cornette.
so,
But yeah, and then let's see. So fast forward to you start sponsoring shows through Wrestling Heels, which I remember when that
started, and it was so quick. So that was literally June and July.
yeah.
Sponsored. We signed our partnership agreement. I think it was a few days before or a few days after the Independence something show, Declaration of Independence
Yeah.
at the lovely Hispanic club there in Concord. El Patron.
El Patron, yeah. That's
With
on me.
no damn air conditioning.
That's on me. I'm the one that
that's got the
introduced
El
Ty to that
Patron.
guy.
So
It was cheap rent though.
no, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
Once you draw, then you kept going up and
Yeah, well, once we did a show and it was successful, because that's where I ran the last couple of Evo shows.
Gotcha.
That's how I got that hook, which I'm.
No air conditioning, or
Yeah.
you turn the air conditioning on at 4:00 for an 8:00 show.
Just remember that I'm the guy that got us in good with Cabarrus.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, that saves me from that.
Yes,
from
that is
mistake.
your saving grace on
Yeah.
El Patron.
But and then
So then,
then the trouble happened.
then the trouble happens in early August.
This was 2013.
13.
Okay. God, I can't believe it's been that long ago. Then
and
we won't get into all that stuff. But
no, but
but Ty had to go.
Ty had to go.
And Like, I guess we could share the story, I guess.
Okay.
Like, Ty called 2 people before he left, besides you.
Okay.
It was me and Jake, right?
Yes. Yep.
And he asked us to take care of the company. He wouldn't tell us what was going on. He just said, will you guys take care of the company? And I remember, like, I think I
got
told...
some stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Please help out this guy and make sure it works, and just take care of the company.
Because I think I've told this story before, but I told Ty, like, on the phone. I have no ill will towards Ty. I don't know if he has any ill will towards me.
I don't think so.
I mean, you made your bed, lay in it. That's the way I feel about it. And he did a lot of good things for a lot of people. And like he's the one that started this ball rolling, so you can never take that away from him.
No, absolutely not.
But I told him, I said, listen, when you ask me, like I gave up my company to help PWX be more successful. So if you tell me I need to take care of this company, and once I talk to Brian, like I'm going to do what I need to do. Whether it's me out, you out, Brian needs to sell it, whatever, like to take care of the company because it's about the 3 letters, not who owns it.
Right.
And the opportunities that these 3 letters present.
Correct.
And he's like, no, that's fine. And then like after me and you talked for the first time, and we kind of went over it, and then me and Jake talked, it was like the first thing that needs to happen is Ty needs to be away from it. First for the betterment, just for the betterment of the picture, the public persona of the company.
Correct.
Yeah, because by then people knew what had happened. But yeah. So I know like you guys done like tell me if I'm wrong. You guys did the partner agreement, then you bought his side out.
Correct.
And then
we did a non-compete.
Yeah. We don't have to get into logistics.
No, but I mean it's literally just. I look at everything from a business perspective, a very analytical perspective, and that's how I treated
and that's one of the reasons. That's how me and you both look at it, and that's one of the reasons that and once again I'm jumping ahead. People don't understand our business philosophy when it comes to wrestling because we don't run PWX like a indie wrestling company.
Right.
We run like a business, and some of our decisions or the way we go about things are misinterpreted by people that are straight independent wrestling, like business, like solely based on your knowledge of independent wrestling and not your knowledge of business.
Correct.
And I'll back up any of those decisions because I think from a business standpoint, which is the way we always look at it when we have to talk about and you have to make the ultimate decision about something, that
it's
got to be what's best for the business, not what's best for independent wrestling.
It's not what's best for me.
Yeah,
it's not what's best for him. It's what's best for the brand and where we see it going and how we want to represent that brand. So
what was your feeling when you were like sole proprietor of PWX? Like I know like me and you are exactly the same as when we get our minds stuck on something, we got to see it through. Yep. And once we get through it, we're like what the hell?
It was like, I mean, it was just, the partnership agreement was literally witnessed and signed at a UPS store.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was like little weird stuff like that. The guy notarizes everything. And then when I did the buyout, it was at a bank in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So it was like all these little weird things that you're like, I'm like, holy crap. It's like, what have I done? All right, I got a full-time job. I'm working 65 hours a week.
Yeah,
how the
no
heck
idea.
Am I supposed? I was like, I get the gist of it. You know what I mean? I was like, but see, I've used a lot of stuff from the car business.
Yeah.
Of how a car business gets someone into the dealership is. It's
once you get them there, like our philosophy has always been once you get all we gotta do is get you there. Our product will sell itself once we get you in the door.
Correct.
Which is also like an independent band's.
It's the same exact.
It's the same concept as trying to build
then the Ritz-Carlton treatment when you're there.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's how are you?
Now, did you know? Because I'll be completely honest with you. You can be completely honest with me. You didn't know jack crap about wrestling, like from a business side when we first started.
No, not at all. I mean, I can tell you.
But you've always been good. Yeah, you've always been good about.
If I don't know, I'm gonna
understanding
ask.
That you don't know, and then if you ever, I've always been good, and this pisses you off more than it makes you happy. Pushes you off in the time is I've always been good. Like, Brian, you're not knowledgeable on this yet. Like, let me
almost past that point.
Yeah. But I mean, at the beginning,
me and
Jake
I'm
were
like,
kind of
right.
Listen, let us take care of this. We'll do that.
Yep. So I mean, and it took me
2 years.
2 years.
I think I feel like
was bad.
Well, I feel like
late 15 was bad. So I almost barely didn't make it through the second anniversary, which would be our first X16.
Oh yeah, that was
the worst business decision in the history of me owning the company.
Yes, I agree with that, and I was part of it, and I took ownership over it too.
I'm like, what the heck?
We have a lot to talk about. We might have to do another episode now that I'm thinking about it.
There's a ton.
Yeah. So you take over. Jake was booking, right? Or was Carino booking at the time?
When I took over, no, Jake
was. So we had Carino had finished.
Carino, I think, was finished in that steel cage match. I think it was the break point.
Okay.
So a little before then, but It's All About Me.
Yeah.
Was that blow off?
Ty would go back and forth. Like sometimes Jake would book it, sometimes Carino would book it, sometimes Ty would book it, sometimes we have a few people. So it was never. That was one of the problems. Is it was never like a consistent. Like now I feel like we have a consistent group that we built a solid group, and the storylines keep progressing on. Sometimes we recycle, sometimes we pass, but we still have people know what to expect. When you change bookers like here, there, and everywhere. You get it. It's like oh, you were going this route this time, and then
this route, and then
and then you turn,
zigzagging a lot. I mean, you figure we were on TV by the end of 13.
Is that when we did TV?
I think so. Yeah. So maybe it was mid 14.
I want to say mid. I want to say like July
14. So I mean, literally
and we did 53 weeks. Was it 50? Was it a full year?
No, I think it was 38.
38 weeks.
38 weeks. So almost.
That was one of the roughest things I ever agreed to.
Nuts.
Ever.
I mean, it was.
I remember driving.
Everybody.
I remember driving. We were on WCCB, Fox. Wasn't it Fox, Charlotte?
It was Fox at the time. Now it's the CW, but WCCB right there on Independence.
I remember I had to drive when did it air?
It was
Sunday
mornings.
Sunday mornings at like 3 in the morning or something like that?
5 a.m.
5 a.m. Sunday mornings. So they needed it by Thursday.
Yes.
So every Wednesday, I would have to drive to Independence Boulevard with my external hard drive and give it to, what was his name? I want to say Matt I can't remember his name. Super cool dudes. And I'd sit in there for like 40 minutes while that 28 gig file moved over and just talk with them and watch them make stuff. I did that for probably 32 out of the 36 weeks.
And then I was filling in the blanks in between. So nuts. And then we had that short time where we were in 2 markets.
Uh-huh.
So this was after you left?
No, I drove to Winston a few times to drop off.
Triad 20?
Yes.
I think Triad CW
I went there
20?
I went there once.
So
I think the debut episode I dropped off.
Okay.
And after that I could upload it to like Aspera Connect or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, it was insane.
TV too early. I'm gonna put that out there now. TV was way too early.
Yes.
Not without the right backing, and I mean, 2014.
We were ambitious. That's the problem.
2014 and 2015, man. I
so much money.
Oh my God. I
insane.
wish I could say 5 figures. It was probably 6. I mean, if you include the cost of TV, I mean, just
maybe like both of them combined.
Yeah.
Like both years. Yeah, I would say 6.
It was no. Well, yeah. Then after March,
like talking about 14 and 15 combined.
Yeah.
It
was
easily
easy over 6 figures. I mean, because some of those shows, the budgets were like I had no idea.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, no idea, overpaying. Strictly, I would call myself a money mark in 2013 and 2014.
Yeah.
Because
I agree with
literally,
that.
I was just
pay out, like trying to, because that's you didn't know, and you didn't have somebody to protect you.
No idea.
That's the thing. That's the thing is you have to have
things. If I would have done things different from what I'm doing now and done it that early, holy cow! I would. I don't know
because it's a weird business is a weird thing. I think the wrestling business is a really weird thing. But I feel like
we had that underground feel.
I feel like that those shows, even though it was such a harsh on the budget and the money.
Yeah.
Like those shows with Kevin and Generico and Jimmy Jacobs and Carino and Eddie Edwards And, you know, all those shows put us above everybody else. Because we were the only ones around here because Ring of Honor really wouldn't let their talent go out. That's when they first started not letting their talent go out.
Right.
And because Ty was in good with Jeff and Delirious and all of them and worked for Ring of Honor, they would allow him to get anybody they wanted.
Correct.
Anybody wanted for his show. So that kind of, like, in a way, it was completely against my philosophy with Evo when I owned Evo of, like, I'm going to build my own stars.
Right.
And I think that's when, even though I wasn't part of a booking committee or had no influence at all in booking, I feel like whenever I closed Evo and then joined up with PWX, and I kind of kept pushing that thought process into Ty's mind.
Build your own stars.
Like, that's when the transition started of, like, then you see the Cedric Alexanders and the Caleb Conleys and the Jake Mannings and the John Schuyler's came in like a little bit later, and the Corey Hollises, and you know, that's when all Drew Myers. You remember Drew Myers?
Yes.
Drew Myers. Yep. Like I remember Ty put Drew Myers in a match at El Patron. You might have been there with Eddie Edwards. And Eddie Edwards beat the piss out of him, and that made Drew Myers. Like that.
I was there for that.
That match was insane.
The chops and the red marks.
The chops and the slaps and the blood. Mm-hmm. It was, But I think it's weird. The only thing that I feel like that we've went through with PWX that we should have never went through was the first X16.
Oh, what a mess.
I think the second X16 made up for it.
That was a small car, a small family sedan of a mess.
Yeah.
That's literally what I compare it to.
Yes.
They're like, well, what's the price of a small family sedan in 2015? Do the math. That's literally
that's how much it cost us.
I mean,
cost you, I should say.
I mean, it was just rough.
Ill-timed, a great show.
I mean,
great
it was a
show, great lineup.
Show. I mean, I'm going to take a lot of blame but it was just learning to do something that big.
Yeah.
I was still in the learning process of what I call my recipe.
And that's on me, because that's how our relationship works, is that I've been doing this for a long time, and I feel like I'm knowledgeable about it. And if I'm not knowledgeable, I will reach out to like Kevin or somebody else who's more knowledgeable than me about it.
Right.
Who's way more knowledgeable, and then get their perspective and then share it with you, or you reached out to them. But yeah, that's something that, because I had always done an 8-man tournament that was only one night. Never done a 2-night tournament. Never, like, I was, and that was all sold on Bola and PWG. And then if I did an 8-man tournament with a small company like Evo,
right,
we couldn't, at PWX, we couldn't come in with the 8-man tournament, 1-night tournament. Like, we're talking about doing an 8-man, like an 8 team.
And you're like, got to do 16.
Yeah,
So
like this company is so much bigger than mine ever was.
Right.
So if we're gonna do this, we have to. Yeah, I mean, you gotta look at, we had Tommaso.
Yep.
Ricochet.
Yep.
Tessa, Cedric.
Yep. Moose.
Was Shane Strickland in it?
Yep.
The first one?
Yep.
Strickland, Donst.
God, everybody.
David Starr. That was David Starr's first time with us. And then all of our main people. It was insane. Moose and Ricochet in the first round. Was it not?
Yeah, I think so.
We need to go back and watch
how
that.
do you overbook something? Just
watch the
first X16.
Exactly. Great, but it was great. And Ethan winning was awesome.
Yep.
That helped build him.
Yep.
But yeah.
Just crazy overbooked.
When you look at, let me see how far. We're about 35 minutes in. We got about 15 more minutes. So when you look at PWX when we started, and then we look now.
Yep.
Like, what's the most amazing piece of it to you?
For me, I'll give you some stupid ego stuff.
Okay.
Helping out with WrestleCon this year for all of us.
Oh yeah. Well, that was your first time.
It was my first time.
This is my 7th time.
Okay. That was big. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Eric Thompson, man. You can snore like a champ, brother.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
I heard and I saw.
But I mean, just going down there, being a part of that, watching something that's bigger than what I would consider, like when working on the super shows.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and WrestleCon and all the live events and helping with that.
Oh, yeah, it's insane.
And, well, the nice part was getting asked to help with it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? To where I was thinking, you know, me and Claudia were working the information booth.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, no, man. He goes, I need you on live events.
Yeah.
He said, if Patrick's upstairs, I need you downstairs helping me make this to work. And I was like, okay, when's the first show? 2 hours. Thanks for the notice.
Yeah.
But
it's like
but the
WrestleCon.
favorite part of that weekend, and for the was sitting in the airport Monday morning at 5 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
and some random dude coming up going, hey, aren't you Brian from PWX?
Nice.
Mind if I get your autograph? I was like, what do you mean my
I don't
autograph
ever
for?"
sign up. Like, were you
So,
not?
like,
Were you not
I was
at
just
WrestleCon?
totally thrown off. I was
Yeah.
like, wait, what?
That's funny.
And Claudia there to witness it.
Oh, yeah.
Because she was like, what the, you know, just that what the hell look. I was like, I don't know.
That's what I love about what I do is that I'm in the background. Like, I'm behind the curtain,
Trying to
like
get,
making sure the production's on
trying
point,
to get this
editing's on
company
point.
known on that national,
Yeah.
international level,
Yeah.
though. That's the thing, because
That's the
everybody
little.
knows.
That's the little wins.
Yes, everybody knows me in a ring. I can't talk on a microphone.
Yeah.
Can't.
You can do it in a basement though.
in
You're
a
doing pretty
basement,
good.
Yes,
Just
where
me
I'm
and you.
comfortable, relaxed. I'm getting more relaxed on the microphone, I think,
Yeah.
show by
Oh,
show.
it just takes time. I
But-
used to be horrible. I'm still not very good. I just know what I need to say, and I'm comfortable enough to say it, especially with our crowd, because our crowd's like talking to just a
Friends.
big group
Just
of
friends and
friends, like
family, yeah,
500
so-
friends.
I think that's the other part of this is me personally is just, you know, getting a little bit of the recognition, not
What's the
ego-wise,
friendships that
but
you
it's-
make?
that's where I was going with this. I mean,
Sorry, I jumped in front of you.
yeah, just the family that, I mean, people who care about this company and the time that they have there, I think is the most important thing
Oh, yeah.
that I personally have benefited from, and people who work for us
That's what.
feel even when they leave. So, like, you know, the relationship I have with Cedric and Ariel,
Yeah.
the relationship you have with Cedric and Ariel, you know, and still talking to them, or like, if I need to text somebody that's in the performance center, they're gonna actually
Yeah,
text
message
me
you back.
you know. So it's like, because we look at each other like family, and the goal, I think, a lot of people think, for us wise, the goal is just let them keep getting bigger, get bigger, bigger, bigger. But I think the goal at the end of the day is our guys to
Oh, but
go
it's
bigger, bigger,
it's
bigger.
to,
You know, so
like, for me, it's always been. I always share a story. There was a fan at the last Evo show that I ever did, and this is the most touching thing in professional wrestling I've ever witnessed in my entire life. And it was over with, and legit. Whenever I closed Evo, I knew I was going to do production and stuff for Ty. That was
Yeah.
the agreement, but I didn't want to be stuck in professional wrestling anymore. I was so burnt out. I was so just dead about it, and like I did my thing. I created what I wanted to create. I got some national notoriety. I did what I did. I helped some of these guys out. I made friends. It was cool. And this guy came up to me after the show, and he's like, Patrick, can I talk to you real quick? Have no idea who this guy was. I mean, I might have seen him at shows, but I'm so
Right.
in the zone that I don't pay attention to people that are at shows. No offense to anybody there. But he goes, I just want to let you know that my wife works a full-time job. I had to quit my job to take care of our son and daughter, or something. I think it was her son and daughter. And I was going through a real depressed time because I wasn't working. And my
Right.
wife was paying the bills, and just from a man's standpoint, that can hurt your ego
Right.
a little bit. He said, and I found Pro Wrestling Evo, and I have come to your shows every month since I found it, and this has given me the outlet that I need to get away from that depression, and I look forward to coming every month. So thank you for what you did. And I was like, dude, like
when
you can't like, and that's what when
you
people
can't put a price on that,
dude. Yeah, well, it's like when
the
people
the amount of lives that the company's affected in a very positive
Exactly.
way.
well put.
I mean, it's the outlet for so many people.
Yeah.
And for me, myself personally, it's that's the part that I think I enjoy the most is,
Yeah.
you know, when you hear just the stories of that, or I mean, there's a lot of people that suffer from depression that look forward to our events every month.
Yeah.
Because for them, it's that touching base with their wrestling family.
Well, it's not just that. It's like if people always question, like whenever we meet people, and this sounds very egotistical, and I don't mean it to sound egotistical. I got something in my eye. I'm really crying. Not really. But the people will be like, well, what do you guys do to be successful? Like, what do you guys do? This and that, blah, blah, blah. And it's like two things I always tell them. Like, one, it's me and Brian have the same work ethic. Like, me and Brian don't stop. And I hate that about me, but I love it about me. It's like we're addicted to working, or we have this goal that we were looking to reach, and nothing will stop us until we get. That's a big reason for the success that we've had.
It's a good and it's a bad.
Yeah, it
affects
double-edged sword.
Yeah, for me, personal life wise, it affects everything.
Yeah,
because I'm taking time away from my family to help out the bigger family.
Yeah.
In PWX.
And
that's just a little part of it. And then in the same respect, it's like
this is what you have to do to
you
make it.
You have to, because I mean, if you want to hustle and succeed, you have to work your butt off every
it's not
moment.
easy. It's never going to be easy.
There's times where people are like, well, how much do you work and how busy are you? And I'm like, I sleep from 1 to 6 a.m.
Yeah, me.
That's when I sleep. That's 5 hours a night.
That's it.
And I'm literally, if I'm up, I'm working a full-time job where I have the ability to think about PWX, and when I'm not dealing with a customer, I have that ability to deal with other stuff at the same time. I've set myself up to remotely do everything. I've got you helping me. And
we talk at least 6 times a day. At least.
Probably more than that.
Yeah. That's on the light side.
Yes. So, but it's one of those where you're like, no, this has to happen. I need this done, and like I'm putting demands on you, and I'm like, and then in the same respect, I'm working on all the other outlets that I can.
The TV appearances, the radio spots.
This will air when? Probably Tuesday.
This Tuesday.
Okay.
Tuesday. It's Tuesday on this podcast.
Okay.
It's Tuesday.
All right, it's Tuesday. So since it's Tuesday, so like Thursday, I've got to be at the news station at like 6 or 7 in the morning, to record some stuff. And I'm like, don't know where I'm going. Just got kind of the generic email. So, but that was one where he reached out to me to talk about the business side of being a small business owner. But I'm like, man, it's just PWX. But then since we run it as a business, it is a successful business. I mean, if you would have told me when I bought the company we had 425 Facebook likes and we're over 20K now.
Yeah.
5 years later, I'm like, dang,
But it's and that's if you have any advice for for other independent wrestling promoters, what would your advice be?
I'm gonna tell you what was told to me.
Okay.
Okay.
You gonna tell us who told you, or are you just gonna keep it?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Christopher Jackson, Cue Ball Carmichael.
Okay.
Okay. Because I was in his, somehow got put into his group or was friends with him or something. Number one, don't ever show up to the venue without pay in hand. Don't ever rely on the door.
That's cardinal rule.
Cardinal rule number 1. Okay. Now, cardinal rule number 2 was he gave me a specific number. If you're drawing 500 times 10, that's what you need to show up with.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay. Now,
500 times 10?
Yes, $5,000. Show up with $5,000.
Gotcha.
Okay. So if you're just drawing for 300, you show up with $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's how you should budget your shows. That's what you're saying. Okay.
Budget your shows, and that's how you got to figure out, what all fits into that niche.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how you don't lose money.
Correct. Rule number 2, because of rule number 1.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Rule number 1 is always never rely on the door.
Yeah.
Rule number 2 is always treat your customers
like family.
Yeah.
I've heard you say that one before.
Okay.
And you do.
That's rule number 2.
I think that was the first reputation you built, is how well you treat customers. That and flagging Facebook posts. For the record, it's not us.
No.
No, we have a company that does it.
Yes.
And then like we took some flack. We've taken some flack
for that.
But there's a company that does
George
it.
South is literally training in Hebron Hall.
Yeah,
He still has me blocked on Facebook.
Yeah. But
doesn't know how to unblock me.
To set the record straight, there's a company that does it for us.
Yes.
And then we have to say no, this is okay, and then they take it away.
Right.
But the problem is that sometimes that gets caught in that purgatory of us taking it away, and then you get that happen.
Yes.
Leave George alone, Brian.
I love George South.
I do too. But yeah, so yeah, you got anything? We got a show this Sunday.
Absolutely.
Barris Arena.
Land of Opportunity.
Is the Land of Opportunity, which is a perfect title for that show.
You got the
Opportunity Knox ladder match, where we have a mystery person. We're not going to give it away. You have to buy a ticket to figure out who that sixth person is going to be that's in that match. We've named 5.
Yeah.
We got Ethan Case in a dream match. And this is in some ways rewarding Ethan for the time and effort and
just the hard work.
The hard work he's put in for PWX. So if you ask yourself, like, why is Scorpio Sky? Number one, Scorpio Sky is an amazing wrestler, and I've always wanted to see him live. And I met him in Orlando, at WrestleCon in Orlando, and talked to him a little bit.
I met him.
But Ethan was the
one.
Yeah, Ethan was the one that kind of asked for that a while back. I mean, and anybody that's ever known Ethan or talked to him or asked him, like Jeremy put it in an article like 2 or 3 years ago about who his dream match was, and it was Scorpio, and we were happy we were able to work that out. But yeah, and that's I mean, you get to witness somebody that you're a huge fan of live out a dream. Like that's not a marketing ploy. That's not something we just made up and told Ethan to go with it. This is legit. I asked Ethan, or I should say, we asked Ethan, who would you like to wrestle? Who would you like to defend your world title against? Like, what would be your dream world title match? And without hesitation, he said Scorpio Sky.
First person was Scorpio Sky.
And so I got his number and we reached out to him, and this Sunday it goes down. And there's so much more. I mean,
you've got the, partnering with the Crockett's. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we barely even scratched the surface of
the ball field show.
The ball field show and the growth of where the company's been.
Yeah.
And now it's at the point where, people are calling us and saying, hey, can you help out my charity? Here's what we want to do.
Yeah.
What do you think PWX can do? And kind of going that route.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
it's an interesting world.
Growth.
And the growth is insane. Because even if I challenge everyone that if you have the High Spots Network, $9.99, or better yet, if you want to go to pwxpro.pivotshare.com.
Just click on it. pwxpro.com.
Just pay.
Click
just
on
pay.
demand.
Yeah, that's got all of our titles from the day we started till the last show. The Too Close for Comfort, which was crazy. And so you can. I just challenge anybody to go, either one of those platforms, just support local independent wrestling, and watch a show from 2013. Like watch Declaration of Independence from 2013, and look and just take in how much this company has grown since
with
then.
the tarp in the back.
With the tarp in the background. It was brutal. But yeah. But you got anything else before we get out of here?
No, just want to thank anybody who watches. Thank you, and if you're new to PWX, just check us out. If you're in the Carolinas, come say hello, introduce yourself, come to a show, and thanks everybody who's been continually supporting us.
Awesome.
For a long time.
Allow us to do what we love to do.
Absolutely.
Thank you, bud. Pleasure, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Chewsday Special Podcast. Subscribe on iTunes, leave a like on this video, and comment down below. Oh yeah.